How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with yet another review, and new beer time. Interesting beer time, at least label-wise. In the form of Hokkaido Brewing Company's, this is their Niagra Ale. Never heard of this brewery before, but I was at a local bottle shop, kind of bipping and bopping around, and I saw this beer, and honestly, I bought this beer purely based on its bottle and its kind of, marketing the whole nine. Odd shaped bottle. You don't see those all the time. And the most interesting thing, I like the artwork too, and the label's pretty cool, but look, it actually has like a pull tab cap on it. I don't think I've ever seen that before. So something about just the marketing, the styling, the bottle shape, that cap, the whole nine sold me on the beer. So if this beer sucks, kudos to the marketing team over there at Hokkaido Brewing. It at least piques my interest. But as far as beer goes, it says a Hapashu, a fruit beer. No idea what the Hapashu is. A Hapashu fruit beer, and ported by Arian Products, Irvindale, California. It's a product of Japan. Hokkaido Brewing Company, which are Hokkaido, Japan. Let's see. Ingredients: white grape, malt, fructose, liquid sugar. Okay. Corn syrup, rice syrup, yeast, hops, tannic acid, citric acid, and maltose acid. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. It sounds more like a mixed drink as opposed to a beer. So we'll see what's what with that. But I mean, that's pretty much it. But like I said, the marketing worked. It worked on me. I really was just curious about it. It didn't cost a lot. It was just kind of like a single bottle on a shelf. So here we go. Let's see how good this pull dab kind of works. That works pretty damn well, and it popped off, had a nice hiss to it. Yeah, it's kind of got this plastic little membrane underneath here, and then so hey, that worked. And let's see what she pours like. So yeah, there's a lot of bits and pieces going on in this beer that aren't beer. I'm kind of curious to see that. When you think, I mean, this is definitely just a little bit of stereotyping, but when I think of products of Japan, I think of quality. Actually, I think of cleanliness. I think of organic. I would assume the beer would be much the same. They kill it in the whole Scotch world. Some of the best food I've had has been a Japanese-oriented food. So to see a beer with all those bits and pieces going around, it's kind of like a little bit weird, I guess. But what do we have here? What are we looking at? We are looking at, it kind of looks like grape juice. I mean, they talked about the citric acid and white grape and corn syrup and rice syrup and all that stuff in there. She looks more like a grape juice than a beer itself. Maybe like a peach juice. Is a really soft, kind of pretty carbonation. You see, kind of, if I swirl it around there, you can kind of see it just cascade up there. So it's a really tight, kind of pretty carbonation when you do get it. But other than that, there's really not much of a head. And like I said, it looks more juicy than anything else. Let's get a nose. You get that white grape. I mean, I've never had Hokkaido white grape, but it smells like a nice, rich white grape. You get that nice, rich wine, Venice style white grape without that kind of drying tartness that you get from wine. So it's a pre-wine white grape. And there's a bit of sweetness to it. I don't smell much as far as bittering, hops, all that stuff. Again, smells more juice than beer, but smells pretty. Let's dive in. Cheers. Oh, that's sweet. That's sweet. Yeah, sweet. Big pop of like tropical fruit with led by, I should say, that white grape. And getting like a passion fruit thing. Very sweet, kind of star fruitiness. This just isn't beer. It doesn't taste like beer at all. I mean, it's 5% alcohol by volume. So it's an alcoholic drink. It says ale, so, I just kind of assumed it was going to be an ale, but I don't think it is. I'd be really surprised if this was brewed in like a traditional beer. I mean, you're talking about the white grape and all those sugars. I mean, there's malt. Actually, they don't even say, oh no, there's yeast and hops in there, so, yeah. Hapashu fruit beer. But yeah, I mean, she's tasty. She's a tasty beverage. That white grape leads the way. Nice to have that, considering that's what they actually call it. A bunch of other kind of sweet fruit vibes going on in there. big sweet component. You are getting that kind of fructose corn syrup kind of sweetness to it. It doesn't really bother me all that much when I think of it outside of the beer realm. And that's pretty much it. No hop character really to be talked about. No real malt character because of how sweet it is. It's really just more of a fruited drink than a beer itself. So, I mean, as a beer, it's just not beer, and it's just kind of meh. But as like a like in the alco pop kind of realm, it's probably one of the better ones of those I've had. Like you're talking about, your Four Locos of the world, your Not Your Father's Root Beer, those kind of things of the world where you're talking about an alcoholic malted drink. I taste more like just a plum wine, a carbonated malted plum wine, but instead of plums, grape wine, which would be fucking wine, but you know what I'm getting, where plum wine comes off a bit more sweeter to me. It's not necessarily as tannic, and it's not as dry, and it's not as that difference between plum wine and regular wines is more just a sweetness component, and you're getting that in here. So it's almost like a white wine version of that plum wine in the way that works. If that makes any sense. If I knew more about wines, I could actually probably speak to it. But it's tasty. I think it's nice. It'd be a fun thing to eat, at a restaurant with certain types of food where kind of a sweet drink will go along with it. But as far as beer is concerned, it's just not really beer. Just kind of fruit juice that has alcohol in it, which is kind of what a mixed drink is, right? So let's talk about it. Is it one of the better ales I've had as late? No, it's just not even an ale. Value and availability, it was like less than $3, I think, for a single bottle. As a novelty, I thought it was fun, and I don't regret it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to buy this. If you like what, will you like this? And that's, I guess, where this lands. This, I think, would really be a hit with a certain sect of people. If someone's into, your Smirnoff Ices of the world, if someone's into the kind of some certain ciders of the world, if people are into those kind of fruited, sweeter drinks, and they want something a little bit different, something that doesn't, even though there's high fructose corn syrup, something that tastes a little bit more real than those kind of Smirnoff Izemas of the world. It's kind of living closer to that world than a beer world, but it does come off rather natural. And that grape is nice and expressive, and the way the fruits come off are quite nice. So if someone's into those kind of things, they probably dig this. And like I said, just marketing alone, it worked on me. So I don't know what that means, but let's do bowling. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive if you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting stuff. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice little Japanese beer right now. Loosely a beer right now. Hope we'll see you next time. Cheers.